Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Chris Davis, and today we're going to do a movie review. This will be for Deadpool and Wolverine. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Spoiler warning: if you have not seen the film, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, please click off this video, watch the film, and come right back. If you don't care for spoilers, or if you've already seen the film, please continue to keep watching. With that being said, let's get into it. So Deadpool and Wolverine. This was a really good movie, and it can't help but be a good movie because you have Hugh Jackman in it, and you have a few other Marvel characters that make cameos that are spread out throughout this film. And so like with that, for me, with the Deadpool trilogy, like this is number one, then the first film is number two, and then the sequel to the first one is number three, in that order. And you guys can let me know in the comment section where you would rank the Deadpool movies, like which one should be number one, number two, and number three. But this movie was good for so many reasons. You have the character development, you have like the cameos, and that's what really makes this movie for me. The character development and the cameos. And yeah, that's really it. So let's go over like the plot of this film, okay? So this film, the plot is that Deadpool's universe is slowly dying. And the reason why it's slowly dying is because the Wolverine in Deadpool's universe, the one that was in the movie Logan, he died. And when he died, that was a catalyst for Deadpool's universe to slowly fade away. And you're asking, why is that? Well, we learn in this film that there are anchor beings. So characters that play a pivotal role in the universe, that when they pass away, the universe slowly dies. Now, the universe slowly dying wouldn't be a huge problem because it would be like 2,000 years before like it would be destroyed, and so it wouldn't be like a big deal, right? It wouldn't be so imminent. But there is a rogue department in the TVA, and if you don't know what TVA is, Time Variance Authority. You really know about them by watching the Disney Plus series Loki. That's where they come from. And there's a rogue department in the TVA that wants to wipe out the universe like instantly. I mean, it's going to die anyway, so like why not just end it quickly? That's the thinking process of the rogue department in the TVA. Anyway, Deadpool does not want his universe to die, of course, because there's people that he loves in that universe. So that sets him off on this journey to save his universe from this rogue TVA. And one of the first things he tries to look for another Wolverine to replace the one that died in his universe. And so we see him go from universe to universe looking for different Wolverines. We even see Henry Cavill as Wolverine, which is cool. But we finally get Hugh Jackman's like Wolverine. And when Deadpool brings him, the TVA says this isn't gonna work. Well, the rogue department of the TVA says this isn't gonna work. You can't pull a Wolverine from another universe and bring him into yours and think that will solve the problem. No, it won't. And so the TVA cast them out into like the void, and like Deadpool and Wolverine have to work together to get out of the void and save Deadpool's universe. And when they're going on this journey, there's them constantly fighting each other, bickering with each other, but they eventually learn to work together. So that's the main plot of this film. Wolverine and Deadpool have to work together to save Deadpool's universe. So another cool part in this film is the cameos. So we see different actors and actresses come back to reprise their roles that they played in the early 2000s when like Fox still owned like the licensing rights to Marvel characters. So we see Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. So before he played Captain America, he was Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four. So we see him. We also see Jennifer Gardner return as Elektra. We see Wesley Snipes as Blade. We see Channing Tatum as Gambit. We see Daphne Keane as X-23. And it's really good because when you see, especially Jennifer Gardner, and you see Wesley Snipes, like when they played their roles, like there were people who watch the MCU today and like they weren't even alive when they play those roles. But for us older people who remember those movies, we're like, oh yeah, I remember that film. I remember them playing that role. And it was really good to see those callbacks and see those Easter eggs. Now, one of my most favorite parts in this film is when Elektra, Blade, Gambit, Deadpool, Wolverine, and X-23, they all work together to storm the fortress in the void so they can escape. So in the void, there's this villain called Cassandra Nova. She's supposed to be the sister of Charles Xavier. She's the exact opposite of him. She abuses her power. She's manipulative. She is crazy overpowered. She can read people's minds. She can go into people's minds and manipulate their memories. She can somehow put her hand through people's heads. She is crazy overpowered, and she has the Brotherhood of Mutants working for her. So if you don't know who the Brotherhood of Mutants are, in the X-Men trilogy films, the Brotherhood of Mutants are the people that worked with Magneto to make mutants superior to humans. Anyway, they're working for Cassandra Nova now in the void, and Wolverine, Deadpool, with the rest of the Marvel characters, Elektra, Blade, Gambit, X-23, they storm their fortress, and we see this epic fight scene where they're just taking out armies of villains. So we see Elektra with her size and how she's using those is pretty cool. We saw Blade with his katana, him throwing these sharp knives and like shurikens around, and like he's cutting up people. We see Gambit with doing all these card tricks, and he's blowing up people, and he finally pulls out his staff and he's really starting to take people out. We see X-23 put in work, pulling out her claws and her hands and her feet, which is pretty cool. And they're just cutting through an army of these villains, and Deadpool and Wolverine are able to persuade Cassandra to let them leave the void to stop the TVA from wiping out Deadpool's universe. The best part in this film is when we see Hugh Jackman put on his costume, his Wolverine costume, all of it entirely, including the mask. So the black and yellow costume, he puts on the mask, and we see him and Deadpool cut through an army of Deadpool variants. It was amazing. Now I want to also bring this up, the character development. So the character development in this movie is really good. So let's start with the variant Wolverine. So the variant Wolverine, his issue is people say he's the worst of all the Wolverines, and like he believes it because in his universe he failed to be somewhere at a certain time, and the X-Men in his universe either got captured or killed, and he's carried that guilt with him ever since. And going on this journey, he had to learn that he's not his failure, and that he is a true hero, and he is like the epic Wolverine in the Logan film. And what really gets him to understand that is when he sits down and he talks to X-23, and X-23 gets him to realize is that he is the right guy and he is a true hero. Like the Logan in like her universe, like he died to save her and save other children. And she gets him to understand that that variant is just like him, that Wolverine has always had issues and problems and baggage, but he's always came through when it mattered. And like when she spoke that to the variant Logan, like he finally understood, okay, even though I have all this baggage, like I'm still like a true hero. And with that, like he was able like to go on and help Deadpool. Now, Deadpool, his character development, what he needed to understand was, in order to be a hero, you have to be selfless. You can't just do stuff and do it just, okay, what am I going to get out of it? You can't have that mentality. In order to be a hero, you have to think about the greater good, and you have to be selfless. And what really hits that with him is when he goes to apply to be the Avengers, and he's talking to Howie, Tony's chauffeur / assistant. He basically denies his application, telling Deadpool he's not the hero type, and he wasn't wrong for saying that. But going on this journey, saving his own like universe from extinction, Deadpool like learns that he has to be selfless, and he can't just think about himself all the time. And we really see that in the final act when he's willing to sacrifice himself so his universe can survive. But him and the variant Wolverine work together in order to stop the TVA's like machine from wiping out his universe. And by them working together to stop the machine, they were able to like save Deadpool's universe. So this was a really good film. Like I said, it had awesome character development. It had these really cool cameos to where if you watched these films years ago, you really understood the callbacks. Another thing I found interesting in this film is that Deadpool does have a really messed up head. I mean, in his fight scenes, instead of playing music that would pump you up or like really get you excited, he has this slow music playing while he's doing these fight scenes. And I'm like, why would you play slow music during an epic fight scene? You should play something that gets you pumped up or excited to fight villains. Like this music that you're playing, I mean, this doesn't pump me up. This is kind of slow dance music. But that just shows how wacky Deadpool is, and Ryan Reynolds really gets the character. So that's all we have for today. If you liked what I had to share, please hit the like button and subscribe. Also, mention in the comment section what was your favorite part in this film. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.